What happened to Deitrick Haddon inside his own church has stunned fans and left the gospel world in shock. At 52, the renowned pastor and singer collapsed during a service, and rumors are swirling after his wife made explosive claims that no one expected. This isn't just a health scare. It's a story filled with scandal, secrets, and questions that fans are desperate to have answered. You're about to hear the shocking truth behind what led to this dramatic moment and why it could change everything people thought they knew about Deitrick Haddon. Deitrick Haddon has been a household name in gospel music for decades. Known for his powerful voice, inspirational sermons, and influence in the faith community. But recently, fans were left in disbelief when the 52-year-old collapsed during a church service. What made the situation even more shocking was the revelation that came from someone closest to him, his wife. In this video, we're diving deep into the story behind Deitrick Haddon's collapse. We'll explore what his wife exposed, the events leading up to that fateful day, and the ripple effects it's had on his ministry and personal life. You'll get the full timeline, concrete details, and the context that headlines often leave out. By the end of this video, you'll have a complete picture of what really happened, why it matters, and how this incident is shaking the gospel world. Stick around because some of the revelations are so shocking, they're leaving even longtime fans questioning everything they thought they knew about Deitrick Haddon. The story of Deitrick Haddon's collapse begins long before he hit the floor at church. While most fans see only the polished public persona, a charismatic preacher, talented musician, and inspirational figure, those close to him knew that not everything was as perfect as it seemed. Sources close to the Haddons suggest that tension had been building behind the scenes, both in his personal life and within his ministry. According to multiple reports, Deitrick and his wife had been facing marital strain for months, with disagreements that were more serious than the usual ups and downs of a high-profile couple. Some insiders claim that the arguments were not just private disputes, but involved issues that could impact his ministry, including decisions about church finances, leadership roles, and public perception. While the exact details remain partially private, the cracks in their relationship had become noticeable to friends, family, and even church staff. Adding to the pressure was the constant scrutiny of the public eye. As a prominent gospel figure, Deitrick lives under intense observation from fans, media, and critics alike. Every sermon, every performance, and every public appearance is analyzed and judged. Sources say that the weight of maintaining an impeccable image while navigating personal turmoil contributed heavily to the stress he was under. Then came the revelation. From his wife, comments that hinted at private matters becoming public, accusations that struck at the core of his personal and professional life. This revelation created a storm of speculation and anxiety, and just days later, during what should have been a routine service, the unthinkable happened. Deitrick Haddon collapsed in front of his congregation. By the end of this section, the audience is left wondering, was the collapse purely physical? Or was it fueled by the emotional and relational pressures that had been mounting for months? And what exactly did his wife reveal that might have pushed him to this breaking point? The answers are even more shocking than most fans expect. The day Deitrick Haddon collapsed is a moment that will be remembered by everyone who witnessed it. What was supposed to be a typical service quickly turned into chaos and concern as the 52-year-old pastor and gospel artist suddenly lost his footing and fell. Church members rushed to his side, and emergency protocols were immediately put into place. Video clips from the service quickly circulated on social media, sparking shock and widespread discussion across the gospel and entertainment communities. Eyewitnesses described the scene as both alarming and surreal. Some noted that Deitrick appeared visibly exhausted and stressed in the days leading up to the service, but no one expected this sudden collapse. Staff members confirmed that he had been under significant emotional strain, juggling responsibilities as a pastor, performer, and public figure, all while navigating private marital issues that were becoming increasingly public. What made the moment even more intense was the timing in relation to his wife's revelations. Her public statements, alleging personal and marital challenges, had already created waves in the community. And now, this health scare added another layer of complexity. Fans and church members were left questioning whether the collapse was purely a medical emergency, or if the emotional and psychological pressures had played a role. Media outlets immediately picked up the story, framing it both as a shocking health incident and as a scandalous development in his personal life. Headlines range from sympathetic coverage highlighting the dangers of stress and public pressure to more sensationalized takes, emphasizing the timing of his wife's revelations. Social media, of course, exploded with speculation, with fans debating everything from his health and marriage to possible hidden scandals that might have contributed to the breakdown. By the end of this section, viewers are left with lingering questions. How severe was the collapse, really? Was it a warning sign about his health, or a dramatic consequence of personal and emotional strain? And perhaps most importantly, what did his wife reveal that might have fueled this unprecedented moment in his life? The answers are coming, but the next section dives deeper into the explosive details of what was exposed, and it's more shocking than most people expected. The story of Deitrick Haddon's collapse cannot be told without understanding the explosive revelations made by his wife. Her statements sent shockwaves not only through their personal circle, but across the gospel and entertainment world. While she did not publicly air every detail, the information she shared hinted at serious marital conflicts, allegations of dishonesty, and behaviors that fans and followers had never suspected from a man so widely respected for his spiritual leadership. According to sources, her revelations included claims about long-standing disputes that had been simmering beneath the surface. These disputes reportedly involved both personal and professional matters, including decisions about the management of the church, finances, and even the way Deitrick engaged with his congregation and public image. The statements painted a picture of a marriage under immense strain, where conflicts that might have remained private for most couples became a spectacle due to the public nature of Deitrick's life. What made these revelations even more shocking was the timing. The public statements were made shortly before Deitrick's collapse, leading many to speculate that the emotional impact of her disclosures could have contributed to the incident. Fans, church members, and media outlets alike began dissecting every word she said, searching for clues about the severity of the issues and how they might relate to his sudden health crisis. Some insiders claimed that the wife's comments hinted at deeper personal struggles, including emotional exhaustion, betrayal, and a sense of isolation that Deitrick may have felt despite his public persona of confidence and control. This combination of personal pressure and public scrutiny created an environment that was emotionally volatile, making the collapse all the more understandable, though no less shocking. The public reaction was immediate and polarized. Some fans expressed empathy, emphasizing that even leaders are human and face personal struggles. Others were more critical, questioning why such personal conflicts had become public and whether the leadership of a prominent pastor should withstand such scrutiny. Social media platforms became flooded with debates, theories, and discussions, many of which were fueled by snippets of her statements and eyewitness accounts from the church service. By the end of this section, the audience is left grappling with several questions. What exactly did her revelations entail? Were these claims fully accurate, or part of a larger, more complicated marital conflict? And most importantly, how would Deitrick respond to these public accusations? The answers are just beginning to unfold, and the next section dives into the aftermath, the reactions, the fallout, and the shocking responses from fans, church members, and the gospel music community. Once the news of Deitrick Haddon's collapse and his wife's revelations spread, the fallout was immediate and intense. The gospel world, his congregation, and fans across social media were left reeling, trying to process a series of events that seemed almost too dramatic to be real. For a man who has built a career on inspiring others through faith and music, this moment became one of the most scrutinized chapters of his life. Church members were among the first to respond. Those who witnessed the collapse described a mix of shock, concern, and confusion. Many were worried about his health and immediately prayed for his recovery, while others were struggling to reconcile the spiritual leader they admired with the private conflicts that were now in the public eye. Conversations that might have remained private within the church walls suddenly spilled into group chats, online forums, and community discussions, creating waves of both support and doubt. The media quickly picked up the story, with outlets ranging from mainstream news to gospel-focused platforms reporting on every angle. Headlines varied from sympathetic portrayals of a pastor under extreme personal stress to more sensationalized accounts that highlighted marital conflict and scandal. Social media amplified the story even faster. Clips from the service showing the collapse circulated widely, often paired with commentary speculating about the impact of his wife's revelations on his physical and emotional state. Fans were divided. Some expressed deep concern for his well-being, emphasizing that no matter the marital issues, the collapse was a human moment that deserved empathy and understanding. Others debated the authenticity of the wife's claims, questioning whether personal grievances were being exaggerated for attention. In many ways, the debate highlighted the pressures faced by public figures, especially those in faith-based leadership, where personal mistakes or struggles can become magnified into scandals. Fellow artists, gospel musicians, and pastors weighed in as well. Many offered prayers and words of encouragement, reminding followers that even spiritual leaders are human and susceptible to the same pressures, emotional strain, and health issues as anyone else. Others, however, hinted at concerns about accountability, leadership responsibility, and the impact of public personal conflicts on the broader ministry. This combination of reactions created a complex narrative, one in which Deitrick's collapse was not just a health incident, but a catalyst for a broader discussion about transparency, leadership, and vulnerability in faith communities. While the public sees Deitrick Haddon as a powerful preacher, a gifted gospel musician, and a figure of inspiration, the recent collapse has shed light on the immense personal struggles that lie behind his public image. Sources close to him reveal that the pressures he has faced over the years have been mounting, creating an environment where both physical and emotional exhaustion became almost inevitable. Deitrick has long carried multiple roles simultaneously: pastor, mentor, performer, public figure, and family man. Each of these roles comes with its own expectations, but combined, they create an extraordinary level of stress. Staff members and close associates note that he often pushes himself beyond limits, prioritizing ministry and public appearances over personal health. In the weeks leading up to his collapse, insiders say he appeared unusually tired, emotionally tense, and preoccupied with both personal and professional issues. Adding to this burden were the revelations from his wife, which publicly highlighted private marital struggles. Deitrick has reportedly been reflecting on these challenges, expressing both sorrow for the strain on his family and a determination to address the issues honestly. Friends close to him describe him as deeply introspective, someone who has always valued transparency, but now faces the added challenge of reconciling his private life with public scrutiny. In his personal reflections, Deitrick is said to be grappling with questions about vulnerability, accountability, and the balance between being a spiritual leader and a human being. He acknowledges that while faith has been central to his life, it doesn't shield him from emotional fatigue, relational strain, or the complex dynamics of marriage under public scrutiny. This moment has become a turning point, compelling him to reconsider how he manages personal challenges while continuing to lead a congregation and inspire fans around the world. Perhaps the most revealing aspect of this period is how Deitrick is using the incident as a teaching moment. He reportedly wants fans and churchgoers to understand that struggle is part of the human experience, even for those we admire most. He emphasizes the importance of self-care, honest communication in relationships, and seeking support when dealing with personal pressures. By addressing these issues publicly, he hopes to destigmatize vulnerability, particularly in faith-based communities where admitting struggle is often seen as weakness.